Joining us now to discuss, retired Air Force Brigadier General and Newsmax contributor Blaine Holt, former executive director of Iranian Americans for Liberty, Bryan Leib, and Newsmax foreign policy analyst Walid Phares. Gentlemen, welcome this afternoon. General, I'm going to start with you here. Mixed signals. The last couple words we heard there from our wonderful Zach Anders. Talks going well, not going well. If you had to guess what was happening behind closed doors, what would it be?
Overall, probably not going well. But the Ayatollah's social media, you have to understand, is not necessarily geared to get under President Trump's skin and the West as much as it is a message to the Iranian people. We're very much still in control. We could take out American aircraft carriers anytime we want. That means you too, revolutionaries. We're not afraid of anybody. And that's the type of tough guy stuff they got to put out there. Our media will gobble that up as, oh my gosh, this is a split-headed snake at the Geneva thing. Not really, but getting back to the basics here, I am not quite sure that they're getting to where they need to be at this table. And if the president senses that they're just stalling, well, then I think we're going to take action. And if they close the straits, well, then it's all over.
Bryan, your take.
Yeah, I think this regime is going to try and play as many games with us as they possibly can because that's what they do. That's their calling card. They want to try and engage in diplomacy and rattle saber us on X. But at the end of the day, they know very well that we could take out every single Iranian military asset and probably in just a couple days. So I think it's a lot of flapping of the gills from Khomeini and from the IRGC. And with regards to these talks, listen, I applaud President Trump and Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff for continuing to try diplomacy. But I think at the end of the day, there's not going to be a diplomatic resolution here. Diplomacy with terrorists never succeeds.
Walid, the Wall Street Journal had this quote from a former Iran negotiator under the Obama and Biden administrations talking about the U.S.-Iran talks. Quote, it appears that what's an offer to Iran is similar as it was with Venezuela. Surrender and we won't attack you. Although that might be the right approach, it will be difficult for Iran to accept and call it a deal. Do you think that's accurate?
It is accurate from the Islamic regime perspective, yes. But my worry is not about the negotiators, the talks, the postponing and coming back. All of that is technical. My worries is that the U.S. needs to understand the context, the historical context, and compare it. We are in 1945, and we are fighting a Third Reich, which is the Khomeinist regime. And we are still trying to get a deal with them. That, to me, historically speaking, not only is very difficult, but that will be at the expense of the future peace. And that's what I'm concerned about. So the first condition we should have at the table for the Iran regime is to release all the political prisoners, 100,000 political prisoners inside Iran. Then we can sit down with you, because they're not offering anything. They're not accepting any concession in terms of the future of Iran. They're not accepting any control of the weapons that they have. So my concern would be to readjust and to tell the Islamic regime that you will be able to sit at our table if you release all these prisoners who are now tortured. That would be a much stronger position than waiting at what time they're going to meet with us, at what time they're going to postpone. That's, I think, in my view, not the winning one.
General, I want to switch gears, talk about Russia-Ukraine here. And according to the delegations that's meeting with our special envoy, they have said the main issues that concern territories and everything else. So me and Katrina were kind of talking, how at this point is it everything else still 4 years later and all these negotiations, and that's the response we hear?
You have millions killed. You have economies across the entire continent, including Ukraine's, decimated. You have infrastructure in the trillions of dollars. You have mines that won't be able to be removed for 30, 40 years. You have one side, the side that we wish could win, does not have a military solution in front of it. You have the other side that can impose its will militarily with the resources it sits on right now. And so the president is telling the European leaders, through Mark Rubio, no less, just days ago, this has got to be over, this has got to end, and it's going to have to get to concession time. My hope is that the Ukrainian people themselves are heard, because they understand this very, very well in the realities on the ground. And that doesn't mean anybody here is a Russian supporter, far from it. But what we would like to see is no more killing of Ukrainians and getting to something that could work for a sovereign state.
All right, got to leave it there. Walid, General, Bryan, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.